I don't really know how to start this off, so I'm just going to start talking. Now, I'm going to be honest. I should have come out a lot more open about this. I should have come out talking about this a little bit sooner than I actually had. I should have just bitten the bullet and just told you guys, but yet I waited nearly almost another year's worth just to tell you guys this point. And for that, I do apologize. Now, I guess just to let you know, if you did click on this video, then you are probably wondering if you actually were there during the first, if you actually did see Bizarre Fate for the first episode, just let, for no one who, for people who may not know, like new subscribers and stuff, that was literally like the first series. Like, this is the first time I've ever actually done like a series in that style, or even made like a role player RP series, or even like a machinima based kind of RP series like this. Like, this is one of the first times I ever did it. But then again, I guess you can consider it more of an RP, a Roblox RP, because machinima is more of in other games, really. You should all get the point. The point is, I'm making some kind of written and scripted series. But yeah, okay. But Bizarre Fate, basically, it was the first one I ever really written, and there were many points at which I was really hyped to make the series. I was really passionate about it. I was really at the time, I was really into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like, that was one of my favorite animes to watch at the time. But over time, it's kind of become kind of numb. It's kind of, I've had to take a step back from the series because, I don't know. I guess I've just kind of gotten, I kind of was just not in the mood anymore. Like, you have to keep in mind, like, even like 2 years ago, I was like in the mid, I was in like my mid teens at that point. Like, I was going through a lot of stuff. Even now, I still am. After almost 2 years, I still am. But it's really been a big development for me as a person and as well a content creator, even though I don't really create that often. Even though I've been trying to say that I would, I kind of haven't because I've been pretty lazy on making content for you guys and making anything actually. But the biggest problem that I guess I've really had was with wanting is the fact that I had to let this series go, or even potentially even cancel it because it couldn't be continued. Now, the reason why it couldn't be continued was mostly because it's not just because I just didn't have the passion or will to work on it anymore. It wasn't just that. It was also because of the fact that I didn't have the actors and the people that were helping me out with it weren't really interested in like working on it anymore. They weren't really interested in like making anymore. There was even some conflict with trying to come up with future ideas for setting the series up. Like, in the first episode, the actor that was getting into a fight with the main character was like the two kind of that guy that played as the other actor, like Dapper. By the way, yo, if you're watching this, none of this is your fault, man. I just want to let you know that this is more of a fault of all of us, including especially myself, I just wanted to let you know that I do thank you for the time that I've had with you, man, and honestly, you're one of the best people I was it, to be around during that time, honestly. Like, he was a really good guy to chill around with. Hell, honestly, he was really fun to be around. When I first met him, we kind of were we it was kind of we kind of did start off at a very toxic start when we first met, but we got along a lot better over time, and honestly, I kind of felt like I could relate to the guy a little bit more. But ever since he ran into family problems and some of his apparently he had a relative of his that died, I just decided to give him his space. I've tried to get back into contact with him at certain points, but I just really didn't have the courage to, I don't know, interrupt him during that time because as much as I did want to talk to him, I felt like he needed space. And I feel like we've all been in those scenarios where we don't want to interrupt that person or make them feel uncomfortable or even talk to them during those moments because you don't want to be in you don't want to interrupt them during a state of when they're in a state of crisis or they're just not in the right place at that time. It's kind of like you basically would probably just be making the situation worse, and that's kind of how I thought when it came to me trying to interrupt him during those moments and during that time period. So I gave him a space, and I've tried to get in contact with some of the other actors and other people that I know online and everything on Roblox and everything. Like, I have some Roblox friends. Like, I try to get into contact with some of them. We talk on Discord. Hell, we even play Xbox sometimes. In fact, a lot of people I usually know on Xbox Live. But honestly, it just wasn't really going too well. Like, I don't really feel like I could. I don't really feel. They didn't really feel like, nor did I feel like we were all really interested in continuing the project anymore. It just didn't seem like we were as passionate as like about it anymore. And even I kind of lost passion for it. Like I said before, I lost passion for it a long damn time ago. And at that point, I realized, honestly, when I was talking to one of the older actors, I've even actually talked to him for a little bit, and this was like many months ago, like maybe even almost half a year ago, when I was talking to him about this, and honestly, it was like we basically decided that it would probably just be best to finally either cancel or just leave this series on the shelf. And I kind of decided that I would probably maybe leave it on the shelf or at least cancel it for now. Now, so yeah, basically, Bizarre Fate. I should have told you guys this sooner, but sadly, the series has been canceled. It's not because of it's not because we didn't like the way the series was going or anything. It's just that most of the actors and even myself were just not interested in doing it anymore. And I just kind of and even though I could have gotten newer actors and everything and even actually like paid for some of those costumes and everything, like helped them out with doing that, I don't really have that much money, so I probably couldn't have done that regardless. But even if I could have, I still wouldn't have really been interested in continuing it, nor wouldn't have nor do I think it would have been as high quality as I really wanted it to, like wanted it to be. And that's really where I just kind of decided to just not continue with it. So in a way, I've also kind of decided not to do Bizarre Fate for, I guess, in a way, even selfish reasons, I guess. So in a way, which I am sorry for those who do kind of feel like I just kind of like quitted on them or anything. And I do apologize to those who really were looking forward to seeing where this series had to go. But I do apologize, like, once again, I'm afraid episode 2 isn't gonna be coming or may not ever come. I mean, there is always a chance that maybe this series could come back, but we would probably have to do it in an entirely different form and everything. But then again, I don't really see that happening either. Because I don't really think I could write the story. And now when I look back on it, I don't think I would have even been able to really write that kind of story that well. Because the JoJo's. Because if you actually read the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime, watch the anime, or read the manga, there's a lot more to the story than just the fights and the choreography. It's also how the characters are written, and some of the stuff that goes on in that series is some things that only Araki, like the original art author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, some of the stuff that he puts in there is stuff that really only he would be capable of making. And I just don't see myself, and there's no way I could ever replicate that. And I never really intended to replicate that, but at the same time, I felt like maybe that might have been in the direction I was going. Like, I honestly feel like I would have just been copying him in a way, even though that was never really the real intention of making this series. But yeah, I honestly, I never really planned on doing that. As a writer and as an artist and a writer, Araki is someone I really do have a lot of respect for, and I really never really wanted to slander his series or his art in any way, shape, or form. Like, any way, shape, or form. Honestly, I just wanted to make a fan project that would show my enjoyment for the series, but I guess maybe I would have made something maybe worse or something that's kind of. But I didn't want to make something bad or make a complete copy of what Araki's work. So, yeah, for all of that, that's pretty much all of the reasons why Bizarre Fate was canceled. Now, before it was canceled, I actually did get to work on some of the clips, on some clips for episode 2. Now, not all of them, but I did get some of them. In fact, I can even show some of them right now. In fact, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, just to let you all know, there really isn't going to be almost any context within. I didn't ever put any, like, text or anything within these clips. So, if you don't understand the context, I might be able to explain it right after this. So, I guess, let me roll these clips real quick. Alright, to explain what was happening in those clips, basically the main idea of it was basically, in fact, the whole main idea for this episode, for the second episode, was basically this was supposed to be the episode where we would start setting up, like, what the main villain and everything of the series of halfway of the through this first half of the series was like first half of the season was going to be. There's actually going to be many seasons with this series, hopefully up to about at least 3, I would say, was the plan, but we were really more focused on getting through the first season mostly. So yeah, the main idea of this part was basically to set up the villain, basically set up the villain of the story. Mostly talk about more of his motivation. He basically will introduce himself, and by the end of the episode, we would also basically, like during the fight at the end, basically someone was like one of the other actors was supposed to play as a character that would jump in and become one of the side characters of the story throughout most of the season. He would even have his own unique stand and everything, kind of based around what some of the like based off one of the costumes within the game, kind of like that what that other villain, the guy that was playing the villain, was actually some kind of a diver costume for his stand, I believe. I forgot what it was. So this game basically, the game was most of these clips and most of the stuff is mostly filmed in the game known as Bizarre Legacy, I believe, but we don't really play it anymore because honestly, we just kind of lost interest in it after a while. Plus, the people that play most of the JoJo games on Roblox are pretty toxic, so yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's basically it. I hope this cleared up a lot of. So yeah, in conclusion, I guess I hopefully you all understand. So yeah, Bizarre Fate was sadly canceled, or may have just been put on the shelf. We may come back to it at some point, but just not now. But anyway, I hope you all understand, and I hope this finally cleared up some stuff. Like I said, I should have talked about this a long time ago, but I guess now was the time for me to finally bite the bullet. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope this actually gave you a lot more information on what's been happening. And if you would like to, and if you could, please do subscribe and like this video if you did enjoy. And I'll see you all next time. This is JamMegaZX signing off.